Hey, y'all, listen, happy Thursday. Okay, welcome into the building. It is Trending Topics Thursday, and life isn't fair. No, it's not. Life is not fair. But you know what? Jennifer Lewis told us, when you fall down, get up. She fell off a balcony 10 feet, and she got up. So we already know life isn't fair. It's not about how many times you fall. It's about how many times you got up. So never give up on life. I don't care what your circumstances are, what your situation is, what you're going through during the moment. Don't give up. Because trust me, if you talk to enough people, they're going to let you know life is not fair. Sometimes it just down outright sucks. But you can't give up. You cannot. We're going to hear from Regina King, who lost her son 2 years ago. Now, you know we got to be easy with the words on YouTube. Lost her son due to him unaliving himself. He's in a dark space. He didn't want to be here anymore. And there are a lot of people in this world who are feeling that way. We got to pray for them. Pray for yourself too. Sometimes we're so busy praying for everybody else. Pray for yourself too. Save yourself. But don't give up. Because we know life isn't fair. Maybe you didn't get the promotion. Maybe they never give you the accolades. Maybe you wanted to be this and you didn't get to do whatever you really want to do in life. You still have time. You hear those stories of the individuals who they're in their 70s, their 80s, their 90s, and they graduated from college. It's not about what they're going to do with the degree. It's about that was one of their dreams. And they said, you know what? I'm not going to give up. I'm still alive. I'm still breathing. I'm going to just do it. Don't give up. Care how old you are. Don't give up. Do whatever it is you want to do in life and don't give up. Then we're going to talk about this Boeing whistleblower. You know, when people speak up on these jobs, it takes a lot of courage. Because 9 times out of 10, probably 10 times out of 10, if you're going to speak up and do the right thing, you're going to be a man by yourself on the island. Everybody be like, yeah, this not right. They shouldn't treat us like this. But nobody speaks up. Then they gas you up. You speak up. You look to your left, look to your right, look behind you. Nobody's there. All the people that had the same complaints and all the chatter, they're gone. He was bold. He spoke up. He said the airplanes were not passing inspection. He said he told the people. He said the next thing you know, they took him off of that particular job. They sent other people. The other people came back and said instead of 300 things was wrong, they said 30 things was wrong. And they got praise, accolades, probably got raises. Then the plane goes up in the air and all kind of malfunctions. You know, that we're paying all this money for plane tickets. Then we got to pay for our luggage. Then your luggage can't be over a certain weight. But if it is over a certain weight, then you got to pay some extra money. Now they got everybody wanting to carry an overhead bag because the carry-on you don't have to pay. Make that make sense. You can still bring it on, but if you put it overhead, you don't have to pay. So now you got 20 million people putting this luggage overhead. So great. If something happens, we're really done. Because if the car or the plane crash doesn't take us out, the luggage from the top overhead falling on top of our heads, that's bound to take us out. So he was brave and said, listen, it's too many things wrong. You can't put this plane up in the air right now. They moved him out the way, did it anyway. So there's a trial right now. And he was testifying in that trial. He did 2 days testifying. He was supposed to come to his third day to testify. And all of a sudden, they find him in the car. He's not alive. And they're claiming he unalived himself. I don't think so. But what can we do? Life isn't fair. Testify. He was about to go to the third day to testify. And now all of a sudden, he in his car, he unalived himself. Why wasn't they protecting him better? That's why witnesses don't want to come forward. Because who protects the witnesses? They want Diddy, people to speak up against Diddy, but who's going to protect these people? Who's protecting me? Y'all want me to come speak because y'all want to get a satisfaction out of you brought him down, but who's going to protect me? Do you know what? We paying all of this money. We paying thousands and thousands of dollars to go to these universities. We sending our kids. We got to buy the meal plans. We got to spend all this money so they can stay in the dorm. We got to buy stuff for the dorm. You have thousands and thousands of people begging the government to forgive them of their student loans because they can't afford to pay the student loans and live their life. So they tell us part of the American dream is you go to school and you're going to get you a good job. So every system that the government sets up, they didn't set us up to fall for the dream. They tell you you want to get out of poverty, go to school. But meantime, you go to school, if you don't do it the right way or do the right things, you come out in worse poverty than you was in before you went in there. Because you owe Sally Mae, Freddie Mac, or whoever hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending upon what school you went to. So now they told you was going to get a good job, and you get a job that ain't even paying that much, but now you got to pay more out of your check for your student loan. So you thought you was going to move on up to the apartment in the high-rise sky, and no, you got to stay on your mother's couch because you got to pay your student loans. So they got all of that. Then we got this student, Asbury University. She spent time with her family for Thanksgiving. They drop her back off. We love you. Drop her back off. Next thing you know, she's in the ICU. They give her parents a call. Her roommate found her, bruised up, fingernails ripped off, not breathing for 23 minutes. And everybody's talking about, oh, she fell out the bunk bed. She got bruises everywhere and her fingernails are ripped off, and you saying she fell off the bunk bed? Too many of these universities are covering up the most heinous crimes ever. As much as we have to pay for our family members to go to these universities, every dorm should have a police in it. An armed one. And they should be roaming around these universities 24/7. We need to start demanding some stuff with our taxpayers, our dollars. And you know what else too? All of that money we pay, we need to say, listen, forget the meal plan in the dorm. You know, how is my child going to be protected? Yes, come on, Sebastian. You know what, Sebastian, every now and then you be waking up. Come on, I don't know what you eating lately, Sebastian. Yes, it should be a panic button in every dorm room. I like that idea, Sebastian. Come on, Sebastian, 2024 is your year. You better come through with the good suggestions. A panic button in every dorm room. You in danger, slam this red button. And the dorm director, the resident assistant, the campus police, everybody's going to come running to that room. I dropped my daughter off. Y'all calling me? She's on the way to the hospital. She wasn't breathing for 23 minutes. Y'all trying to say she fell off a bunk bed? Now, let me tell y'all this. I like to be calm. I like to remain calm. But when there's a situation where I can't remain calm, then I can't remain calm anymore. And it's going to go down. And I'm calling ABC, NBC. I'm going to beg every blogger. I'm going to keep putting it on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter. I'm going to force you to investigate and find out what happened to my kid. And I'm here paying all this money every year. And y'all want to try to say she fell off a bunk bed? Life is not fair. But you know what? In a constructive, peaceful way, we have got to start speaking up and standing up and making sure that we get justice. Because it reminds me of Wendy Williams' words. If it can happen to me, it can happen to you. And that's with everything in life. Sometimes we see something like, not me. No, if it happened to me, it can happen to you. Yeah, the school tuition is a whole down payment for a house, a car, everything. And we make the sacrifice because that's what the American dream is supposed to be about. And I send my kid there and they're not protected. About to go off. Now listen, I done talked enough. It's Trending Topics Thursday. And the title of tonight's Trending Topics is Life Isn't Fair. Life isn't fair. So we're going to board this train. Y'all know what I need in the chat, right? I need a what? I need a choo-choo. All aboard, everybody. It's Thursday night Trending Topics, and life isn't fair. We're going to talk about Regina King. God bless her. If anybody, unfortunately, knows the pain of burying a child, you know what she's going through. We got the whistleblower. I'm praying for all you whistleblowers out there. Stand strong because you're telling you and you're probably saving a life. We got the Asbury University student. May God be with her. And if I were her parents, I would be running my mouth until change came about. Let me bring the people on in the building. Hold on one second. Hey, in my opinion.
Hey, Diva. Choo-choo.
Choo. Hey, Leo.
Hey, Diva. Hey, Opinion.
Hey, Felicia. Hey, E. Hey, Wayne. Hey, Savannah. Regina.
Hey, Panel. Hey, Diva.
Julius. Hey, people. Choo, choo,
hey,
choo.
choo,
choo.
Yes, we in the building. Listen, guys, I'm going to go ahead and start with this Regina King story. it broke my heart when I saw, her interview, and this was the first time of her speaking out since the untimely passing of her son, her only son, who unfortunately took his own life. And be careful when I come around to you guys with the words, because it's YouTube, right? Took his own life. She talks about the guilt, the pain, the grief. She talked about how, he was in therapy, but sometimes their pain overwhelms them, and it comes to this point. So hold on one second, everybody. Let me just share screen here. Let me make sure I find.
The superstar sat down with our Robin Roberts to talk about how she's coping with the tragic loss and her return to the screen.
For nearly 40 years, she's reigned as one of Hollywood's most versatile talents.
That plane does not take off unless we're both on it. Got it?
From her breakout role in the 80s sitcom 227.
Are you crazy?
To her Oscar-winning performance in If Beale Street Could Talk.
Do you think I came here to make you suffer?
Regina King is known for humanizing complex characters.
If I can't get the nomination, I can still get delegates.
Including her latest role starring in the biopic Shirley.
How did you prepare to play Shirley Chisholm?
It's been a 15-year journey since we were going to tell Shirley's story to now it actually happening. And I think 15 years ago, I wasn't ready to play Shirley. I may have thought that I was then, but I wasn't ready. I needed to live more life.
Regina's joined by her sister, Raina, who co-produces and plays a key role in the film that chronicles Shirley Chisholm's political rise in 1972 as she becomes the first Black woman to run for president.
We felt like there were so many people who did not know who Shirley Chisholm is, who she was, who she is. And that bugged us. When you're a first, when you set out to do something that no one else has done before, there's no example of that for you. That's a lonely road to travel.
Yeah, and it just so happens to be an election year.
Yeah. We were like, no, it needs to live and be in the space now, so that if it's going to inspire anyone, especially young people, to be involved with the political process, then we've done something right. And we've also honored Shirley, and we've followed through with what Shirley has unbought and unbossed.
For the last couple of years, Regina has been taking much-needed time away. In January of 2022, her dear son Ian tragically passing away by suicide.
You dedicated the film to your beloved Ian, your
to
son.
my Ian.
What has this time span, these last 2 years, been like for you, Regina?
Oh, wow. I'm a different person, now than I was January 19th. Grief is a journey, I understand that grief is love that has no place to go. I know that it's important to me to honor Ian in the totality of who he is. I speak about him in the present because he is always with me, and the joy and happiness that he gave all of us.
But behind that joy and happiness, Ian's mental health took a toll.
When it comes to depression, that people expect it to look a certain way, and they expect it to look heavy, and people expect that
It's okay.
to have to experience this and not be able to have the time to just sit with Ian's choice, which I respect and understand, you know, that he didn't want to be here anymore. And that's a hard thing for other people to receive because they did not live our experience, did not live Ian's journey.
I think a lot of people are going to appreciate that you said it was his choice and that you recognize that.
I was so angry with God, you know, that why would that weight be given to Ian? You know, of all of the things that we had gone through with the therapy, with psychiatrists and programs, and he just, Ian was like, I'm tired of talking, Mom. My favorite thing about myself is being Ian's mom. And I can't say that with a smile, with tears, with all of the emotion that comes with that. I can't do that if I did not respect the journey.
Their close bond, always on full display at Regina's red carpet events.
I thought about him when you were on the stage at the Oscars because you were wearing orange. That's his favorite color.
Yes.
I remember he used to escort you.
Yeah.
So are there moments where he was always there with you physically that not does it trigger, but is it?
Oh, it's a trigger.
Is it?
Absolutely, absolutely. So sometimes it'll trigger just laughter. Most times, as of recent, it triggers a smile. But sometimes his absence is really loud.
Regina admits she still struggles with acceptance.
Sometimes, you know, it's a lot of guilt comes over me. When a parent loses a child, you still wonder, what could I have done so that wouldn't have happened? I know that I share this grief with everyone, but no one else is Ian's mom, you know? Only me. And so it's mine. And the sadness will never go away. It'll always be with me. And I think I saw somewhere the sadness is a reminder of how much he means to me, you know?
Happy sorrow is what my mother used to call it.
Happy sorrow.
Yeah. You said something that Shirley Chisholm, what are the two words? Unbought and unbossed. So what are two words for your motto to get? What would be your two words?
I don't know that I can. Two words.
I have two words for you.
Do you?
Ian's mom.
That's the first thought that came to my mind.
I know you.
That's the first thought that came to my mind, but I was like, okay, let me come up with something more profound. That's what I was trying to, but that was the first thought that came to my mind.
That's all right.
Ian's mom.
Robin Roberts, thank you. And if you or someone you know is struggling with mental health issues, you can text or call the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at 988.
The parents of a 7.
Whew. I know that was a lot. I thought it was important to show. In my opinion, you're up. Your thoughts?
When someone you love becomes a memory, that memory becomes a treasure. And that treasure lives on in you forever. And yes, you get those times when you cry. And sometimes it's not even sad crying. It's the thought that you can't see, talk, touch that person, feel them, but you know that they always there. And it's different for a mom because we carry our kids, you know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
We feel them. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing that we wouldn't do for our kids. So thank God I've not lost one. Pray I don't have to. But that would be a hard pill for me to swallow, having to lose one. But I will tell her that he's gonna be her treasure forever. And even though she can't see him in this world, he's right there with her.
Mm-hmm. Appreciate you. Thank you. In my opinion, Leo, you up?
I often say this. I do have a good friend of mine who lost a child. And of course, I know nothing. And I would always tell her, I know nothing about the experience. And it was, at least with her, it was so hard to grasp because it's unnatural, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is not God's way and it's not the path. When you lose a parent, it's devastating. But to lose your child and your only child,
Mm-hmm.
it is so hard to wrap your mind and your spirit and your body around that. And I understand it would take her 2 years to be able to go on camera and speak about her baby.
Mm.
And everything we pour in, parents pour into their children, and he was already troubled, and she poured a lot. He was her partner. She took him everywhere with her when he was available. He was her road dog. I mean, she really is missing her son. And she even looks different to me. I can actually see her wearing pain. She looks good. I'm not saying she don't look good,
Mm-hmm.
but I can see her wearing pain that she's probably going to wear for the rest of her life for everything she poured into her son. So, God bless her. I'm glad she has meaningful work that she can pour herself into. I wish her all of God's blessings because she done took one of life's biggest and most tragic heartbreaks. And I hope and pray that the road is smoother for Miss Regina King, because she is, not only does she see her child as a treasure, but us in the community, she's also one of our treasures as well. So I wish only good things for her in her future and in all her endeavors. And when I heard she was doing Shirley Chisholm, because Shirley Chisholm is my girl, unbought and unbossed, and I hope when I watch that I can see that she put her pain into betraying this woman that people know very little about.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wish her all the blessings and all the healing energy possible.
Thank you, Leo. I appreciate you. Felicia, you're up.
Well, good evening, everybody. Grace and peace. Thank you, Diva, for sharing Regina's story. I certainly extend my deepest condolences on the loss of a beloved son to she and her family. As Leo says, you can see how hurt and traumatized she is by not only losing her son, but a friend and her road dog. And I wish her the best. And I hope that she's able to heal in ways that she can continue to go forward and keep bringing the light into our lives. I'm done.
Appreciate you. Thank you. Tay, you're up.
No parent should bury their child before they pass away. That just heartbroken right there. That's her only child. It just take too much to lose a one child like there. But she had to keep the memories of him, from the good to the bad, no matter what. Keep the memory of his alive, and you always remember his spirit will always be there with you until your day will of the earth will end, and then you reunite with each other to where God is. And that's my thought right there.
I appreciate you, Tay Tay. Thank you so much. Savannah, you're up.
You know, last night it was hard for me to come up here with Miss Jennifer Lewis's story because that's how I lost my mother. She fell and was unable to catch her fall, and unfortunately, she cracked her skull and was unable to come back to us. So it was hard for me to watch last night's show. But glory to God that Miss Jennifer Lewis was able to find her strength and tell her story and share her testimony with us. And one of my childhood heroes, Miss Brenda Jenkins, and I always remember coming home and watching, running home and watching 227. And I loved Brenda. Because I could relate to her and seeing how she didn't have to be flashy and knowing that she was always book smarts and always was savvy and sassy, and I always related to Brenda. Um, and my heart breaks for Regina, and knowing that how grief can paralyze you, and seeing that interview this morning just brought me to her and showed me, and I've been with her all day today, and actually since last night with your story of Miss Jennifer Lewis. I've been in this state and then seeing again Miss Regina's story, but she's always been a childhood hero of mine, because I've admired her since 227 and how she's always selected her roles as an actress, from Poetic Justice to Big Bang Theory. I've always loved Regina and how she's selected, but knowing that she's gone through this tragic moment as a mother, my heart breaks for her, and I definitely am with her now, and I'm feeling this tragic sense of love for her right now. So
Thank you, Savannah. My condolences. I'm so sorry that happened to your mom. And thank you for sharing your story. I appreciate you. Wayne, you're up.
Yes, my heart pours out for Regina. Because she's one of those actresses. I don't know how old she is, but I mean, I was young when she started on 227, and she's always been relevant. So we've actually seen her grow physically, and so forth and so on. She's always, just been a good actress. And unfortunately, some people say, I know what she's going through. I don't. I can't even identify with it. I don't even want to identify with that. I can't imagine the grief. I can't imagine it. And in 2020, I saw it up front. I had I had two good friends. One good friend, his son unalived himself in Atlanta. We had to ride to Atlanta, then come back, then go back for the funeral. While I'm sitting in the funeral, our other best friend calls while I'm at the funeral in tears. His son was just in a accident, life-threatening. And 2 weeks later, we had another funeral. And the grief I saw, I mean, I actually saw, I had to go, we went to the hospital. They hadn't taken her son out. and the grief of the mother and his sister, I just like I couldn't bear it, and it wasn't even me. And it's not only that grief. Then I mean, it's 3 years going on 4 years, and it's almost she talks about like it was yesterday, and it's really I'm not saying it's a burden, but when the grief doesn't leave you, some people leave a year, whatever, they get over it, whatever. But for the one that it drags on, it's hard. So I'm just saying, I just can't imagine that kind of grief. That's why my heart pours out for her. Because at the end of the day, she's Ian's mom. She's Ian's grieving mom. She's Ian's sad mom. At the end of the day, she's the mom. And she's gonna have to deal with that the rest of her life. And so, like I said, it's just a burden. I thank God at this point I don't have to bear.
Thank you, Wayne. Thank you, Rebels. I didn't know that. She said Regina's sister was on What's Happening Now. She starred in several episodes. I had no clue. I didn't even know she had a sister in the business. So that's good to know. And I'm glad her sister was on the set with her for that Shirley Chisholm movie. Just support. E, you're up.
I'm sorry. The content of this, I can't do this story. Please
Not
forgive me.
Got you. It's fine. Julius, you're up.
1 second of one day at a time. Even though I'm child-free by choice, I heard that cry of a grieving mother too many times. So, with that being said, I will be yielding that.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Julius. Katrina, you're up.
Good evening, everyone. Yeah, this story is very, very touching. It's touching me in ways that I didn't know that it would touch me. Simply because the reason is my sister was, when she was born, the doctor said that she was going to live a year, but she ended up living 3 years. So we was back and forth to Birmingham and stuff at the Children's Hospital and stuff like that. So my mom lost my sister at the age of 3. But my mom never showed weakness. She kept strong for me. She was there for me. I know it had to hurt, to have a child you taking care of all this time and then the child just gone. And then, as I was telling y'all, going on 3 years ago, my mom died the day after my birthday. The only thing that gives me solace is that she spent all my birthdays with me on earth. Now she can spend time with my sister and have it for her birthday. So that gave me a little peace. But it's still hard. You know what I'm saying? It's still hard because I have neither one of them. So I just pray that they're together and that my mom seen her again, which I know she did. And I just hope that they're happy. So I feel Regina, even though I didn't go through it, my mom went through it. And I feel her on that. I feel her on that. Like I said, to have somebody in your life that you're taking care of and just to be gone. But either way, yeah. Oh yeah, I'm good. I'm done.
All right. Katrina, thank you for sharing. I know this was a difficult story for everyone, but I think Regina King said some good words that could perhaps help somebody out there to let you know it's okay to have the feelings that you have about your loved one that has passed. I think it was very sweet, Katrina, that you said your mother spent all the birthdays with you, all your birthdays with you, and now she's getting to spend it with your sister. Listen, guys, love the people that you have around you and that are loving you. Love them back. We don't know the minute, the day, the hour. We don't know what that I love you or that hug is doing for that person. So make sure you say it. Make sure the people around you know it and they feel it and they understand it. All right, guys, I appreciate y'all for getting through that story with me. I thought it was very important. It was very touching. And when I saw it and I just saw her like trying to get through that interview and speak to the people. I appreciated it. And I think she's going to help a lot of people with that interview to let them know, listen, I feel guilty. I was mad. I was sad. And I miss him. And I'm still Ian's mom. All right, everybody. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next story. And the next story, you know, it's always hard to be the odd man out, so to speak. It's always hard when you see something going wrong. And, you know, all of these jobs, they put mechanisms in place. They say pretty much see something, say something. You can be anonymous. But so many times you're not anonymous. So many times you say it. And although they have policies where they say they're not supposed to be retaliated against you, they do. And it's sad. And it's like, what do you do? And here you are, you work for an airline. You are supposed to be the inspector of planes and all this other stuff. You tell the people that something's not right. And pretty much they say, yeah, okay, whatever. Because they have spent too much money trying to put said plane up in the air. And the longer they delay that plane being up in the air, they're losing money. And so they'd rather risk unaliving like a whole bunch of people losing their life than to lose $1 and make everything on that plane, make sure it's safe. So let me share a screen. I'm trying to see which one I want to show first. This one. So Boeing whistleblower attorneys, no signs client was, going to unalive itself, and they want answers amid his death. So John's family released a statement on their loved one's passing, and they reiterated his cause of shining a light on safety concerns that he was raising while at Boeing, noting he was deeply affected by the lawsuit he was embroiled in, and which they say was going to trial in June. His family says they believe his experience at Boeing contributed to his unaliving. Okay. The Boeing whistleblower's attorneys say he didn't appear to be a person that would unalive himself before he died, which is why they think his death is incredibly suspicious and are calling for answers immediately. Robert and Brian Knowles, who were repping John in a retaliation lawsuit against Boeing, which was well underway, tell TMZ that he was in the middle of depositions last week in his civil case, a process they say was nearing an end soon. We're told that John was in good spirits and very much so looking forward to putting this saga behind him, ready to move on, they add. We didn't see any indication he would take his own life. No one could believe it. They add, we're all devastated. We need more information about what happened to John. The Charleston police need to investigate this fully and accurately and tell the public what they find. No detail can be left unturned. The attorneys explained that John had filed a suit because he felt Boeing had retaliated against him after he tried sounding the alarm on what he believed was them turning a blind eye to safety issues, and alleged in his lawsuit they fostered a hostile work environment. Like we said, John's case seemed to be wrapping up, and amid reports John took his own life in the middle of all of this, it's safe to say his legal team is incredulous. Knowles, that's his lawyer, was even quoted as calling this self-inflicted wound being attributed to his client's alleged hold on one second. Let's play what he said.
The FAA is saying that the plane is now safe to fly. What do you say?
One, this is not a 737 problem. It's a Boeing problem. And I know the FAA's gone in and they've done due diligence and inspections to assure that the door plugs of the 737 are installed properly and the fasteners report properly. But my concern is, what's the rest of the airplane? What's the rest of the condition of the airplane? And the reason my concern for that is back in 2012, Boeing started removing inspection operations off their jobs. So it left the mechanics to buy off their own work. So what we're seeing with the door plug blowout is what I've seen with the rest of the airplane, as far as jobs not being completed properly, inspection steps being removed, issues being ignored. My concerns are with the 737 and the 787, because those programs have really embraced the theory that quality is overhead and non-value added. So those two programs have really put a strong effort into removing quality from the process. When I first started working at Charleston, I was in charge of pushing back defects to our suppliers. And what that meant was I'd take a group of inspectors and actually go to the supplier and inspect their product before they sent it in. Well, I'd taken a team of 4 inspectors to Spirit Aerosystems to inspect the 41 section before they sent it to Charleston. And we found 300 defects. Some of them were significant that needed engineering intervention. When I returned to Charleston, my senior manager told me that we had found too many defects and he was going to take the next trip. So the next trip he went on, he took 2 of my inspectors. And when they got back, they were given accolades for only finding 50 defects. So I pulled that inspector aside and I said, did Spirit really clean up their act that quick? That don't sound right. And she was mad. She said, no, said the 2 inspectors were given 2 hours to inspect the whole 41 section and they were kicked off the airplane.
As we reported, John had been going around and speaking very publicly about the issues Boeing had been experiencing lately, even coming onto our show, TMZ Live. He explained why he left them getting the green light to hit the skies again soon after the Alaska Airlines incident, claiming that this was in line with his own experience with Boeing as a quality manager, a period in which he alleged he saw many lapses. In the aftermath of our chat, John, Boeing planes have continued to experience problems, including something dramatic just this week, with a flight from Australia to New Zealand beginning to drop out of the sky after apparent massive equipment failure. So here he was, brave enough to say something's not right. Unfortunately, they fired him from his job. He was suing. He was on his 3rd day of giving testimony about everything he saw and about what happened to them. And all of a sudden, they found him in the car and he allegedly unalived himself. Whistleblower. I'm praying for all the whistleblowers out there, all of them. In my opinion, your thoughts?
So Diva, now we was taught to we see something, say something.
Yes,
and
yes.
this man's position, him seeing something and saying something is crucial because he has life in the balance of his hands. And so I respect him for standing up and telling these people. But I think there needs to be a federal indictment on this company for not taking the safety concerns in their hands and doing the right thing and fixing them, because now they costing people their safety and their lives.
It's a shame. Leo, you're up.
Excuse me. So Diva, when did this happen?
I gotta go back. I want to say in 2017 is around the time he's working there. I'll give you a little more context.
I'm talking about, when did he unalive himself?
It just happened recently.
Like last week?
I gotta get the exact date. I'm not sure the exact date.
Okay, so I had, because I listen to a lot of NPR, National Public Radio.
March 9th. It's March 9th.
March 9th. Okay, yeah. So this was before then when I heard about this story. And it was also being said that Boeing itself, earlier years before, where the mechanics and the engineers were the ones that were running the production. But slowly over the years, they started putting corporate heads in charge of production because they wanted to streamline costs. And you know, it putting people's lives in danger just to streamline costs. But that's what these companies do. Then they give you, I know in all the corporate jobs I ever had, once a year you got to do the ethics training and say something, see something. You got to sign off on everything. You know, is the company true and honest and in compliance with the law? And you sign off that the company is, and if there's something going on, you can call the 1-800 number compliance, and your call gonna be anonymous and all this other kind of dumb stuff. And this just lets you know that that's just not true. They're not telling the truth about actually if you do have complaints and you're actually being vocal and a pain in their side, they'll figure out a way to get rid of you so they can still make their money. But now, if they can figure out if something bad does happen and he was an inspector, he was the head man of the other inspectors, they wouldn't mind pointing a finger at him though.
Come on now.
They wouldn't mind pointing a finger at him though. So, you know, that's just, you know, cautionary tale. That's just how these companies are. And I'm still going to have the question in my mind that Boeing hire a heavy hitter. I'm still going to question that because I don't believe it that he unalived himself. I don't believe it. You don't come that far. You don't put down a deposition. And in the middle of the deposition, when it's almost over, you unalive yourself. That's just not a thing.
I'm with you on that, Leo. So see, his panic lawyers raised the alarm, requesting a hotel check on him after he didn't answer his phone. So let me go back up a little bit because it was the third day. All right, so I might as well go up to this. This one has a little bit more information. Boeing whistleblower John didn't seem depressed at dinner on the evening before he was mysteriously found unalive in his car with a pow wound to his head, sources told the Post. Lawyers, family, friends, and witnesses all say the 62-year-old was upbeat about finishing off giving testimony against his former employer in Charleston, South Carolina, and raised suspicious as to whether he'd take his own life. An employee who works at the Holiday Inn, where John was found unalive in a parking lot, told the Post Barnett ate a quesadilla, drank a Coke, scrolled on his phone, and seemed fine on the evening of February the 8th. I didn't think of him at all until I heard the news the next day. He didn't seem upset at all, the employee told the Post. Barnett was due to give a third day of closed-door testimony in his bombshell lawsuit against the jetliner giant the next morning, but he never showed. His panic lawyers raised the alarm, requesting a hotel check on him after he didn't answer his phone. Police then discovered his body on March 9th, slumped over in the orange pickup with a silver pow still in his hand. The Charleston County coroner initially noted the death as a self-inflicted wound, but said more tests are being done before a final determination. Police have made clear they are still actively investigating what happened to him. Sources have also told the Post that Barnett's car had been dusted inside and out for prints, an unusual measure when you unalive yourself. Family friend Bob Emery spoke to John around 2 weeks before he died and said he seemed to focus on what he was doing with the lawsuit and didn't seem depressed. Emery told the Post they both lost their wives, himself more recently, and it was Barnett who was making calls and checking up on him to make sure he was okay. I lost my wife last year and he checked on me a lot, Emery told the Post. That's his friend. I told him that I have good days and bad days. He said that's to be expected. But as time passes, there will be more good days than bad days. He told him he was doing well. He had a good life going for him, even with the problems at Boeing. Barnett's wife, Diane Johnson, also a former Boeing employee, described her in her obituary as having enjoyed working on race cars with her husband, died in 2022 from an undisclosed illness. He took Diane's loss hard. They had gotten together later, and he fully thought they were going to grow old together. But I felt like he got him through that, Emery said. He definitely missed her a lot, but I don't think he was, a type of person that would unalive himself over what happened to his wife. John was a quality control engineer who worked for Boeing for more than 3 decades before he retired in 2017. 2 years later, he told 2 years later told the BBC that Boeing cut corners by rushing to get its 787 Dreamliner jets off the production line and into service. He gave numerous interviews describing how he had complained internally to the company and they had not taken action, sparing him to go to the public out of concern for public safety. His attorneys expressed skepticism over the idea that Barnett died by unaliving himself in a statement released on Tuesday. John was in the midst of a deposition in his whistleblower retaliation case, which finally was nearing the end. He was in very good spirits and really looking forward to putting this phase of his life behind him and moving on. We didn't see any indication he would take his own life. No one could believe it, read the written statement. Emery said he remembered Barnett as a solid guy who's really friendly and generous. He was always helping people. He had a dry sense of humor. He was very smart. You can tell that he was a think, he said. John is someone who really didn't like the attention. He probably never took a selfie in his life. He is this noble thing this was a noble thing that he was doing. He didn't do it to make a name for himself. He did interviews because he thought it would help keep people safe. Barnett loved working for Boeing until 2010 when they transferred him to Boeing's 787 plant in Charleston, his family said Tuesday. Things changed for him when he learned the upper management was pressuring the quality inspectors and managers to cut corners and to not follow processes and procedures which they were required by law to follow, the family said. They claimed Boeing pressured workers to look past defects to avoid slowing down the assembly line, and those who refused were labeled as troublemakers, retaliated against, and subjected to a hostile work environment. Boeing said in a statement to the Post, "We're standing by Mr. Barnett's passing, and our thoughts are with his family and friends." The Charleston Police Department did not turn a request for comment. Just a little more information on that story. Where am I? Hold on one second, make sure. Okay, Wayne, you're up.
That's chilling.
Yeah.
And I fly for free. And I remember one time I was flying and I what if myself so much, meaning like, wow, what if? By the time I landed, I was ready to drive home and I had a ways to go. I mean, I was that terrified, and I fly. And the scary part about this is that when you up there, you're helpless. I mean, the smallest thing, I'd hate to think that, like, say maybe somebody's doing something like I would do. I'm fixing a lawnmower and I say, oh, okay, this will work. This will hold till next week. I can't imagine somebody, not paying that kind of attention, and obviously this gentleman knew that. And I'm like, Leo, this is, and this, I don't think this is going to be solved, because I don't think this, with a company that big, I think you go through some levels of, of getting approval. You follow what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, you know what I was saying? I think you just don't, boom, hey, here's $500, do this for me. No, that's why I don't think this will ever be solved. And it will be that obviously this man cared about people's lives. That's why he did this. So why would he end his and causing the lives of other people that he's trying to save? It doesn't make sense. Why would he come this far?
That part, Wayne, that don't make sense.
Right. It don't make no sense. Why would he unalive himself and there's no resolution to what he was even in the court for, so it doesn't make any sense. But like he said the door was one thing, but the other things that he saw going on with the same kind of issues, it's almost like you flying on a ticking time bomb. But you got to take that chance, I mean, I'm like, you don't have to, but I'm saying, because if I got to go to Los Angeles next week, I'm going to the airport. I'm going to go. You know, I just hope I just don't remember this live. I'm done.
Thank you, Wayne. I appreciate you. E, you're up. Are you there, E? All right. Well, Felicia, you're up.
Okay, everybody. Thank you, Wayne. I was thinking the same thing. You know, I was supposed to be flying out, and I'm like, uh-oh. He said the what? The 787 MAX. Let me check that aircraft. But anyway, for those of you who may not know, so this past the past week, they had that situation that is talked about in that article from Auckland to New Zealand. And so what happened? That was a 737-900, and so some of the people were not buckled in the seat. Okay, so they were flying at 41,000 feet, and the folks, everybody wasn't buckled in. I don't know if the light was on or not, but the pilot says that on his board, his instrument board, for some reason, it just shut down for like 2 seconds.
Whoa!
And when it did that, the plane dropped 5,000 feet.
Yep, I heard that.
Yeah, so the people that weren't buckled in were lifted to the top of the aircraft, and they were like stuck up there when the pressure was being lost. And when it came back on and the dashboard, started to run up again, they smashed down to the floors of the aircraft. And so there was a lot of busted heads, a lot of busted stitches, so they had to divert that flight. So you say, well, okay, so there was a computer glitch. I'm going to be buckled in. We good. But then last week, we had a 737-900 flying over there at Newark Airport, and the wheel came off, honey. It came off. I think they were about 5,000 feet up.
I remember that. Okay, yes.
And the wheel came off. And I called my dear friend Alex, and I said, Alex, did you talk to Theo? Because we know he worked at the airport, baby. What's going on? And she says, I don't know. I'll check into it. And this story, that God bless John and his courage and his bravery for caring about other people. The door plug, I know you guys remember, the door just flew out of the aircraft. They said that 4 of the screws, or the bar of screws, hadn't been tightened in for the flight. So the 3 things that I said to you just now are all mechanical stuff. If you remember, Mr. Barnett was head engineer and mechanic, and he would overlook these products. And so, no, I don't believe for one moment he took his life.
Yeah.
No, he was getting ready to see the victory that he had fought back on for almost 5-6 years. He was getting ready to see the win sign on crossing that line. And so were the people at Boeing. And, Boeing has a lot of wealth and money, and they do talk about streamlining and things like that. And so I want to thank John and his family for coming into our lives and looking out for us and reminding us that, the people on the ground are most important. They're the ones that keep us safe when we're in the air. Thank you.
Thank you, Felicia. Appreciate that. Tay, you're up.
Well, I'm with Wayne, Leo, and Felicia. I don't think this guy unlike himself. Somebody probably take him out. Something's fishy there. Probably don't like him. Because you know how these company is. They don't care about people's safety. All they see, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. That's what it is right there. And thank you for John and his family for doing that for us. My heart go out for his family, and hope they get justice for him.
I appreciate you, Tay.
Diva, can I say something real quick?
Yes, you can. Give me 1 second. Wait, but you're right, Tay. Thank you to John and his family. He was fighting a brave fight, And none of us believe for 1.2 seconds that he did this to himself. Go ahead, Wayne.
I wonder if they've done a study or whatever, that the people who work on these planes, right? And they know they're cutting corners,
right,
through management, whatever. I wonder how many of them themselves fly on that plane. First of all, how many of their spouses and children fly on that plane? Because they fly for free.
Yes.
I wonder if they pass the word, look, don't fly on this plane. I think I would.
Woo,
I just wonder that, because that's you're endangering your family, as well, when you make these shortcuts. And then when you hear what has happened, like with the door and stuff like that, it's like, wow, he was trying to say. And so it's like, do I want my family or my people on it? Or do I want to call up, hey, Diva, there's a flight going out of Newark. I know you headed that way, so don't take that one. It was just a thought. I mean, because I would want a heads up if somebody had some information on the plane.
I don't think so. I don't think so, Wayne. I think they drank the Kool-Aid. I think that they don't tell their family members not to get on the plane. I think the executives themselves have drinking the Kool-Aid, and they're trying to make like, okay, it wasn't that serious. It was only a few problems, because they do that. They done been on Capitol Hill on the hearings and trying to make like it's not that big of a deal. And
until it happens to them.
Families. I don't think they'll tell their families not to fly, because their families will tell other people as well. Do they pop their butt on the plane? Yeah, they probably do. They probably, because what's more powerful? The almighty dollar. They got millions and millions and millions in contracts.
And fortunately enough, knock on wood, we don't lose that many aircraft. I mean, but when it's one, it's a big deal. No, but thank God we don't lose that many aircraft. So they must be doing a little something right.
Julius, you're up.
It's suspicion around his death. Suspicion. His conscience was clear. He was for the people, not the corporate people, the customers. I hope and pray that the customers use his death as a way to make their case more tentative to the fact that, see, this person here who spoke up, where is he today? So I think y'all need to look into this. You need to look into this company, Boeing. And it's just like with him constantly speaking up, yeah, Boeing got some skeletons in their closet. They got some skeletons. And with this being the year of exposure, praise the Lord that door came off.
Right.
And I have a fear of heights. I have a fear of flying. But for my brothers and sisters who love to fly, this is the year of exposure. Ish is about to hit the fan, and it's gonna come out. It's gonna come out.
Appreciate you, Julius. Thank you. Katrina, you're up.
Yeah, Diva. These folks been doing this forever. You take the Titanic. The folks was telling them it was all about making the news, making money. You got the car companies. They would rather have a recall than stop the assembly line.
Oh, you better talk. Okay, I'm listening.
You got Boeing. You got Boeing. That all those people was unalive, and Tom Girardi took their money, but all those people was unalive. Now, that should be your focus. You got people's lives in your hand. when you up there flying, your life is behind that pilot. We have some of these pilots that's up there be drunk because see the plane really flies itself. They just there to navigate it, to watch the signals. Because they'll go to sleep too. Because remember that plane that went off course like 30 miles because the man fell asleep? Some of them be drinking before they get on the plane.
Oh my
So
God.
you putting your life in jeopardy. You putting your life in their hands. You're not behind the wheel. It's not like you in your car behind the wheel driving yourself. You got somebody else driving you. And anytime that you can get to a place in 2 hours that it takes 12 hours to get there by car, it's moving. So the thing of it is, they know lawsuits will come, but they don't care because they're a $1 billion that's a $1 billion company. So they're gonna do the shortcuts. They know that stuff is not right, but they still gonna do it. Remember, they had Boeing grounded a couple of years ago because their jet airplanes wasn't right, and they still doing it. They don't care about the people. They don't care about nobody but themselves. And if this man unalived himself, here comes Santa Claus riding a bicycle down my street. Because that man did not sit up there and do that to himself, and he was already going to court. If he was going to do that, he would have did that before his first court appearance because he didn't want to be known as the whistleblower. So they can run that to somebody else. But either way, I'm glad that he did come out, which a lot of people come out, but they just be silenced. Some of them get paid off and go on by their business or whatsoever and don't say anything and still let these people's lives be in the lives of these people that own these $1 billion companies. Look how much it costs for a seat, especially with Delta. It's ridiculous. In Southwest, they talking about first class. First class, girl, that's ridiculous. First class, the only thing about first class is you got leg room. They don't even have a table. So I'm just saying, it's ridiculous. And I wish the guy, I pray that wherever he is, he got peace. And hopefully he didn't unalive himself or whatsoever. And I hope his family heart is lightened because of what he went through for them and what he went through for us. And may he get justice. That's all I got, y'all.
I appreciate you, Katrina. Thank you so much. Hey, Dustin, I see you in the building. Nice to see you.
Hi, David. Nice to see you. Sorry I haven't been here. I've been busy with the juice.
That's fine. Appreciate you, though. Any comments on this particular story?
I just want to say that there needs to be a lot of investigations still, and I hope that they get some justice. It's very sad, David. It's really sad. To me, it is anyway. Yeah, and I just hope that they get some justice that they deeply deserve.
I agree with you. I appreciate you, Dustin. Thank you so much. Was somebody else trying to say something to me?
Diva, I was going to say, I wonder if there's a possibility, like, say, if they do prove that, hey, he did this, if it was a thing of some powerful people or whatever, if you don't do it to yourself, we're going to do it to your loved one. Almost like, and like we have your loved one right here, right now. I don't know. I just thought about that, that if they do prove it as S, that if he was under pressure, that if you don't do it to yourself, we're gonna do it to the most thing you love. That's it. Just a thought.
I appreciate you. Oh, it's sad. May he rest in peace. It just seems mighty suspicious to me. He's on his third day, and all of a sudden he just doesn't show up to court. They find him, and he's not alive. You definitely got to pray no matter what you do, especially when you got airlines who are claiming they are taking shortcuts and you're flying hundreds of people in the air. But I'm connecting with you, Katrina. They're like, whatever, we get a lawsuit here and there, who cares? We would have made billions of dollars and then we might get a lawsuit. We'll pay them off. So sad. I'm going to roll into this last story. College student. She had Thanksgiving with her family. She gets dropped off at her dorm. Couple hours later, her family's called. She's on her way to the hospital. And the EMTs tell the dad, your daughter wasn't breathing for 23 minutes. What in the world is that about? Let me make sure. I'm trying to see. I think this is the one I want to share. Hold on one second. I think it's the other one I need to share first.
Everything I do that's for my health is an accomplishment.
Concerns of getting screamed faded away.
Just give me a minute. I got to try to skip this ad. I had it queued up. I think it reverted back.
From Asbury University back in December when authorities say a student was found unresponsive in her dorm room and placed in the ICU with mysterious injuries.
The student's dad is now speaking out about how he feels the university could have done more to aid in the investigation. I caught up with him today. When Andy Willingham dropped his daughter Bella off on Asbury University's campus, the place where he studied and met his wife, hopes were high.
They've never been anything but good, and they still are good as far as the institution goes.
But the impression of his alma mater shifted in November. When she returned to campus after Thanksgiving, the Willinghams didn't hear from their daughter for hours. Then they got this call the night of November 27th.
At about 11 o'clock that night, we get a call from the resident director of her dorm, and she tells us that Bella is in an ambulance on her way to the emergency room, that she had been found unresponsive in her dorm on the floor by her roommate.
Paramedics told Bella's parents she'd stopped breathing on her own for 23 minutes, but it was her injuries that sounded the alarm. The Jessamine County Sheriff's Office confirming Bella had multiple injuries, cuts, and bruises. When she came to in the hospital, Bella also realized her acrylic nails had been torn off her fingers. According to Willingham, authorities said she likely fell out of her bunk bed.
There's no way, that these could have been caused by anything other than somebody doing something, to her.
As Bella spent 2 weeks recovering at UK Hospital, Willingham waited for the university to notify the student body of the potential threat, a possible assault. But he says an email wasn't sent until more than a week after the incident.
As a parent, I want to know if there's a possibility of somebody coming into the school and into the campus that could be potentially dangerous.
In a statement sent to our newsroom back in December, Asbury said they were aware of the incident but didn't believe there was a threat to campus. Now, months later, Willingham says he's disappointed that students weren't put on high alert or asked to come forward with tips.
I contacted them and I said, this is not okay. You have to send something else. You got to give a detail so that if somebody knows something, they will be able to come forward. And the school's response to me was, we feel like we've done everything we can do.
Feeling frustrated, even forgotten, the family is just grateful to have Bella back home. We reached out to Asbury today for an update. In a statement, they said, quote, this matter is part of an ongoing investigation by the appropriate authorities and with the university's full cooperation. We're unable to provide any updates or specific information at this time, end quote.
So in late November, as an Asbury University student was placed in intensive care after she was found unresponsive in her dorm room. In the months since the investigation ensued, the student's family hasn't learned new information regarding her mysterious case, and they feel the university could have done more to help. They've never been anything but good, and they still are good as far as the institution goes, says the dad. Well, her dad better than me, because you don't tell me what's wrong with my daughter. You're not good. The dad transferred to Asbury in the late 80s. He even met his wife there. All things considered, he was hopeful when his daughter Bella wanted to attend Asbury in the fall 2023. But in November, the family impression of Asbury quickly shifted. When Bella returned to campus after Thanksgiving, her parents didn't hear from her for hours. On the night of November 27th, they received a startling call. At 11 that night, we got a call from the resident director of her dorm, and she tells us that Bella is in an ambulance on her way to the emergency room, that she had been found unresponsive on the floor of her room by her roommate. Paramedics told Bella's parents that she stopped breathing on her own for 23 minutes, but it was her injuries that really sounded the alarm. The sheriff's office confirmed Bella had multiple injuries, cuts, and bruises. Photos showed swollen legs and deep gashes. According to Bella, when she came to the hospital, she realized her acrylic nails had been ripped off. According to the dad, authorities said Bella likely received the injuries from falling out of her bunk bed. There's no way those could have been caused by anything other than someone doing something to her dad said. As Bella spent 2 weeks recovering at a UK hospital, her dad waited for the university to notify the student body of the potential threat. But he says an email wasn't sent until more than a week after the incident. As a parent, I want to know if there's a possibility of someone coming into the school or campus being potentially dangerous. In a statement shared with the news in December, Asbury University said they were aware of the incident, but didn't believe there was a threat to the campus. Now, months later, the dad said he's disappointed that students were put on high alert and asked to come forward with tips. Most recently, an email asking for information was sent to the girls in Bella's dorm, but not the entire student body, her dad said. I contacted them and said, this is not okay. You got to give a detail so if someone knows something, they'll come forward. And the school's response to me was that we felt they had done everything they could do. The university shared the statement with the news regarding the incident, and that's what the news said. This matter is part of an ongoing investigation by appropriate authorities with the university's full cooperation. We are unable to provide any updates or specific information at the time. Asbury's priority remains the safety and well-being of its students, faculty, and staff, and please refer all inquiries to the sheriff's office. This is a mess. Yeah, come on, Tanya. Her acrylic nails were off. That's a falling out the bunk bed. She stopped breathing. In my opinion, your thoughts?
Oh, this sounds like some diabolical evil stuff, and I'm inclined to believe that the university knows about who did it, and because why else when you want to know what's happening to your students on campus?
Right.
So yeah, they got to know something, and they just covering up for this athlete or whatever this person is. But it's diabolical.
I appreciate you. In my opinion, Leo, you're up. Yeah, somebody's lying.
They all lying. They all lying. They do know who did it, and they probably know why. And with the thing with the acrylic nails being snatched off, some girls did that.
Oh,
yeah, some girls did that. Some girls did that. Them girls came in and they jumped her. Cause I mean, that's all. That's what they you know, them young people can be vicious.
Yes.
And you know what? I'm not saying that people not telling the truth. I don't know what the daughter was into. I don't know what beef she might have had going on with some of them girls. Maybe some dudes might have been in there holding her down. I don't know. But that sounds like some girl stuff to me, to snatch off the acrylic nails. Something has gone on within that campus, and it's silence, and the faculty and the administration know about what's going on there. They know because people talk. People talk. They may not talk to the authorities, but it may have been some hazing. But you know what? They do talk amongst each other. And somebody knows about what actual beef that's been going on within the dorms over some dude, whatever. There is some talk going on, and there can be an investigation through social media. Is there any pictures like of who she was hanging out with? Did somebody go and question them? I mean, to know, well, what she had going on at that time. What did she have going on with her? Because they obviously did not want to unalive her, or she would have been unalive. They bruised her, and then they snatched off, and maybe they hit her head against the floor or something like that. But then they snatched off the nails. It's some girls involved in this, because dudes don't care nothing about that kind of stuff. Not enough to snatch them off one by one.
Oh my God. Ooh.
And I don't know, I didn't hear in the article whether or not she was asked. Did she say she doesn't know or she doesn't remember? Perhaps that would have been her, because she is the first person. So
Right.
she should have been asked.
Yeah.
And what was her response? I didn't see that either.
Somebody's not telling something. Y'all hitting the nail on the head. Somebody's not telling something.
Yeah.
She woke up, she said, my nails are missing. So she has no recollection of what happened to her.
And where were they at? What the assailant snatched the nails off and then swept them up and put them in their pocket? Like, what happened? Were they not on the floor? Like, what do you mean?
Oh, and those were some heavy bruises.
They were heavy bruises. She looked like she was
Leo, and they want us to believe she fell off the bed. So everything should be right there to go.
They telling so many lies, and it's just not in my character to let people lie to my face and straight up try to play me to my face. That makes me angry. I would have been up in their face as a parent every single day, asking questions. Who do I need to speak to? Do I speak to this person? Who investigates on campus? I got a cousin that's a detective on campus. I will be, look, I know y'all have those things in place.
Oh my God. Yeah. This is crazy. And yeah, all these campuses, they have cameras. They hiding something. Y'all right. I couldn't put my finger on this one. I kept reading it and reading. I said, what is missing here? Why does nobody want to investigate this? Felicia, you're up.
Girl, what's missing is the truth.
Oh, shoot.
The truth is missing.
Yeah.
I didn't hear anything about the outside police coming in for an investigation. Did you mention that? And I missed it?
They claim the Sherritt County's office is involved now because they directing all the questions to them.
So according to the story, her parents, somebody, because the lies start from the beginning. After Thanksgiving dinner, she went back to the dorm. How did she get there? Who helped her back? How come she went after Thanksgiving dinner? How come she didn't go on Sunday? Why did she go the night of Thanksgiving? Usually the dorms are a little bit more empty. It's not that many people about. So who made sure she got back to her room okay? Did they have campus security in place because it was Thanksgiving weekend? I don't know. They didn't tell us. Then the father says, we get a call that they found her, the roommate, no less.
Steve, I gotta go.
I'm right there with Leo. The roommate found her on the floor unconscious. And I don't know where we are in the world where you still living and you didn't breathe for 23 minutes. I'm like, no, wait a minute. No.
Yeah, I didn't understand that either. And you don't have brain damage or nothing?
Yeah. You're supposed to be brain dead after 10 minutes, right, Diva?
Yeah, something like that. This whole thing is weird to me.
It's very weird.
Steve, I gotta go.
Okay, bye, Dustin.
Yeah,
Bye.
so I'm believing that she was attacked.
Have a good night.
You too.
Good night. I'm believing she was attacked. I'm going to go with Leo. She got roughed up by some of the dorm people. Now, I don't know. It sounded like it was an all-female dorm. Maybe or maybe not. But then again, it's Thanksgiving weekend. Everyone's not present. And maybe the people who were present didn't have some place to go for Thanksgiving, and they were mad at her.
And keep this in mind too, Felicia. She went back to the dorm after Thanksgiving because it was something she wanted to do. Feel that?
Yeah. So she's up there. Maybe she came in with some pie. She was talking about the good food. And they said, we've been hating on this hoe for a minute. And they just decided to go in there and whip her down. I don't know what's going on. I know her knees looked like she'd been drugged outside. They were raw.
Yes,
looked like there was a bite mark on her arm and her hand. And there was some hematoma, some blotting of the blood. But don't tell me you wasn't breathing for 23 minutes, but you can come to and you know your acrylic nails were gone. God, it's awful what's going on in the world.
Isn't it?
I wish her full recovery. Glad to know that she's not going back there. And based on that story you did about that housewife, Diva, and her husband, when he was over there at Columbia University. We know they cover up. The administration will come in there and cover up. They will call these young people out to be, what was it? You misunderstood the culture.
Yeah.
You didn't understand what he said to you. What was the housewife's husband's name?
From the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Marcellus.
Yeah. You better remember, Leo.
Wiley.
You better remember, Leo. Come on now.
How horrible. How horrible. They gave that young woman no support, no love, no reassurances. Oh, is this the young woman?
Yeah, she's a cutie pie. Yeah, I think
she's adorable.
Yeah, they jumped her. They beat her down.
Yeah, they beat her
that's
down.
what they did. They were sick of her. Yep, they beat her up. Mm-hmm.
Now this, I'm wondering when this picture was taken, because there's a sadness in this picture.
They were dogging her the whole time. They was dogging her.
You are correct. There's a sadness in that picture. Look at that. That's a falling off the bunk bed.
Yeah, what is that? That's hematoma. What is that, Diva? You're a nurse. Did
I
they
don't know.
bite her or something?
This is too many bruises. This is not you. I'm getting with you, Felicia. She was dragged. Look at her.
Broken bone.
Golly.
Yeah, she was dragged, and they hit her with something too, because you see this circular motion.
They look like they popped her veins.
They did. They beat her down.
That's what that is.
Her hand was swollen. There's something. They not telling. Dad is not telling something either.
Oh yeah, he's concerned because he's an alum and he wants to protect his legacy status. He's not sure if he should go full wild out and hold people accountable.
This is baby girl.
She got the story.
And
she
where's
got
the mama at?
Well, you know what, you speaking right there too, in my opinion. Son ain't right. Look how he
If something happened to my daughter and I'm not gonna be there.
He said he meant the wife though at the school.
And you know, that's another thing too. Where did people at? Because like when something happened to ours, we come through full force. Like we come through the grandparents, the uncles, the aunts. We come through full force. Where the people at? What y'all doing?
What they doing? This is something ain't right. Something ain't right. E.
Mm-hmm.
I think E fell asleep. Wayne, you're up.
I was going to say that, you know, like with social media, I mean, if I was the parents, I would have been down there with my phone, you know, filming it. Look, this is what happened to my daughter. This is the school. This, you know, if they didn't want to, you know, investigate or show they were doing something to try to, you know, see what happened. But Felicia said the man was alumni, is probably protecting his status. But alumni or not, I'd have been down there. If they weren't doing some investigation, it would be all over social media. So I mean, so I don't know. You know, I kind of agree with the rest of them. You know, she's a cutie pie. Maybe they just, you know, after hearing the story behind Miss Jackson, I don't put it past what these kids will do. These young people. I don't know what generation that is, Z, X, K, or Y, but I don't put it past them because we're seeing more of this kind of rage in young people.
Yeah, you said it, rage. You said
I don't know where it's coming from.
Thank you, Wayne. I'm coming, Tay. Give me a minute. Let me just go back here for a minute. Let's look at this little short clip.
That these could have been caused by anything other than somebody doing something, you know, to her.
mean, does the daughter have memory loss? What is going on here? Tay, you're up.
Everything is so suspicious and fishy right there. The day is too calm right there. Something's fishy about that right there. And you want to protect your legacy over your daughter? Who does that? If that was me, Diva, I would not send my kid over there to that college right there. No, she gonna be home trained right there. It gotta be like ex-best friend was so mad at her because they fight over a boy. 2, it was probably the bunch of girls pick on her because she's better, she's probably popular than us, and then she's pretty than us. That gotta be right there. 3, it probably be a football guys. I don't know. Everything is species right there. Something species. So it's only those 3 right there. I'm thinking right there. Something ain't right there. And tell that I don't believe she fell off the bed. Like Leo said, the girls probably jump on her when she came that night right there. There's something's gone right there. Something fishy. Something fishy. And somebody better and tell them where's security and where is the carers at? When this girl got jumped. Where are they at? My God, this where is going on. This where is gone downhill right now. I hope this girl testified them and get justice for them. That's all I gotta say right there.
Thank you, Tay. Julius, you're up.
I would have been running amok. People would have had to get my bail money because I would have been knocking the president upside the head. I would have been knocking the resident hall. I don't care. And I'm child free by choice. But let's hop into my baby and I'm entrusting you to care for her. Oh no. Listen, my inner around the way hood rat would come out. I'm knocking everybody's head. I don't care who, what, when, where, how. I'm whooping someone else's kid. They gonna get it. One way or another. Because it's like my baby had to be in the hospital with severe bruises and everything else. And now you want to tell me, oh no, let's keep it on the low. Let's keep it hush hush. No, they ain't no keeping it on the hush hush. I'm exposing you. I'm exposing the perpetrators. Y'all all going down. And I don't care if that ruins my good name. Protecting my children is worth it. And to me, the father is underreacting.
Yes, come on now. That's a good word.
He is underreacting. He needs to be breaking down doors. Don't be caring about the damage. I don't care about his legacy. His daughter was harmed. Same thing with his wife. His wife needs to be breaking down doors, finding out what happened about her baby girl. I don't care. I would have went after that higher kid with prestige status within the school. I would have went after him or her too. I don't care. Heads would have rolled. And if it means taking all the campus's money, so be it. Because guess what? Even though I'm child free by choice, I wouldn't play about my children. No, ma'am, no, sir.
Thank you, Julius. I appreciate you. Katrina, you're up.
Yeah, Diva, go back to that bed.
Oh wait, I took it down already. Go ahead, talk while I figure it out. Go ahead.
No, the reason why I was saying, like, okay, she went back on the 27th, which was Sunday. The only way I can see her falling out the bed like that is she was drunk or she was self-inflicting herself with some type of pain because she don't even look happy in that picture. And maybe that's the reason why the dad and stuff is not doing all that talking. Because if you came back knowing that your acrylic is off your hands, there's no possible way you don't know who did this to you. Either you can identify them or you did this to yourself. Now I'm not saying that she did, but I'm just saying that's the only way. If she was drinking or something, you flipped out that bed and was doing self-inflicting things to yourself, is the only way that could have happened. But other than that, maybe they took the nails off whoever did this to her because they had DNA under them. It's just this weird because her knees and stuff look like somebody hit them with a hammer. So I don't know. And then her hands swollen, like she punched something or she was punching somebody. It's just weird. It ain't making no sense. And like I said, she went back to school on that Sunday because Sunday was on the 27th, which school started back that Monday. But I'm just saying it's just totally weird. Either she self-inflicted that, the reason why they're not saying a lot of stuff, and there's no possible way that you shouldn't have no brain damage if you wasn't breathing for 23 minutes. Unless you got a miracle somewhere. Maybe God was looking out for it because that just don't make no sense. Hopefully they'll find out what happened, but it's real crazy and it's real suspect that this happened and nobody knows nothing. That's ridiculous. Something is not right. That's all.
Thank you. And like somebody said, the dad is he's pretty laid back. Oh, it's still a good institution. It's just insane to me. Wayne, did you want to say something? Huh? I didn't hear you.
It wouldn't be an institution if that was my kid.
Child.
Leo, did you say she was hazed or something?
No, I read that in the comments that she probably had gotten hazed, but there's another element too, because when Katrina said that she did it to herself, perhaps if she had done it to, I'm suffering from allergies, y'all. Excuse me.
No problem.
If she had done it to herself, the institution would have gladly said she was suffering from self-harm.
Yeah.
They would have promoted that all the way to the hill.
Yeah.
It's something else, and the father knows it too.
That's what I'm saying. Like the father, they probably be sticking up. The father probably got them not to say something because it's just weird. It's weird. I don't see no bruises on her hands just swollen. It's just weird.
Leo, I'm thinking hazing gone wrong. Okay, and went a little bit too far. The father done been in there. He may have been hazed and knows that this sometimes happens. And you sworn to secrecy with peer pressure. And you want to be, I don't know if she was, what do you call that, pledging or is a sorority or a whatever, and you want to be a part of it so bad. And you swear to secrecy, and you can't speak of it because nobody saw nothing, said nothing. And she's not even saying nothing herself. I mean, like you said.
Did we lose you, Wayne?
Oh, I thought my internet went out.
I think we lost Wayne. Yeah, I don't know what the secrecy is with this, but it definitely is a lot of secrecy going on behind this. Listen, guys, I'm gonna stay connected to the story, but it seemed like they're not going to get any answers because the dad don't seem like he pressured for answers.
So I think I have something I can add here.
Okay.
This school is based on a Wesleyan holiness theology, grounded in the teaching of John Wesley and his brother Charles, were Oxford-trained ordained clergymen in Church of England. And while at Oxford, they founded a small group of men who were derisively called by their peers the Holy Club. Sounds like a cult, honey. One of these religious cults. Yeah. The history of Asbury was founded in 1890 as the fulfillment of a pledge of the Reverend John Wesley Hughes, a Methodist evangelist, and had made as many students in over the decades. So it's a holiness college, of which I've never heard. And there's this thing, Wesleyan holiness theology. So there might be a lot of rules, you know what I mean? A lot of structure. And if you
hence why the nails were snatched off.
Go ahead, girl. Come on through, Leo. Probably considered unholy and immoral.
And she probably was flirting like a cutie patootie when she got there, and they had to take her down a few notches.
Listen, but that's what some of the girls do and guys do when they come out to college. Even me at my community college, I flirted with a few guys. It happens. But to do that, like I said,
well, this is a whole level of another type of cover up going on.
Right, exactly.
And that's why the cops even want to claim she fell off the bunk bed. Right. I mean, listen, let's be clear. What's her name? Jennifer Lewis fell 10 feet. That bunk bed is not 10 feet.
That's what I'm saying. The only way she could have did it if she was drunk or something, but still, if she was drunk, that's not going to knock you out for 23 minutes.
It wasn't about being knocked out, though. They said stop breathing.
Stop breathing. You know what I'm saying? Stop breathing. That's ridiculous. There's no possible way you could have been out for 23 minutes and you still got your right mind. I don't get that one.
Well, even the EMTs are lying. Everybody's lying. This is a cover-up on the highest level. Well, listen, guys, because I didn't do a feel-good story last night. I got a really good feel-good story today. It's a little longer, but hang in there. And we got a little time. So let's go ahead and roll right into the feel-good story.
Stages. Markel Taylor stunned the running world when he qualified for the Boston Marathon in a very unusual way, you could say. Taylor spoke with our lead national correspondent, David Bagnall, and his new producer, Alyssa. This is her first piece, so we'll all pay attention, about overcoming obstacles and finding the will to create new starting lines in the game of life.
If you were to say to Markel Taylor, hey man, what is your secret to success? He just might say, if you fall in life, just get up and keep running. At 49 years old, he is gearing up for the Chicago Marathon this fall. The streets of California is where he trains.
That's where I was raised, right here.
Not bad for the views.
Nah, it's beautiful.
But for nearly 18 years, Taylor could only dream of training in this scenic city by the bay, from his window at San Quentin State Prison.
When you got sentenced, did you think you were going away for life?
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't think I would never get out.
In 2001, he physically assaulted his pregnant girlfriend.
When she went to the ground, she said, I felt like the baby stopped moving. The instinct came on again, like, what the hell did I do? Why did I do this? What the hell is going on?
So they convicted you for the death of your son?
Yes.
After you abused his mother?
Yes.
What was the sentence?
They made it 15 years to life.
It was a life-changing moment for a man who says he was a victim of violence as a boy.
We would get abused if the dishes ain't washed, or if the house ain't clean, or if it ain't clean to their specifications. Then we would get whooped out of our sleep.
Out of your sleep?
Out of our sleep.
Did something about that say to you that, hey, hitting people is how you handle things?
Yes, that was that connection there.
Growing up, did anybody tell you they were proud of you?
Only my teachers.
Ironically, it took going to prison for him to hear words like that again. Inside, Taylor joined the 1,000-mile running club. It's a track team at the prison, led by volunteer coaches. His speed earned him a nickname, Markel the Gazelle, they called him. It's a story that will be highlighted in a documentary coming out soon.
How many races did you run in prison?
Every month we had a race.
How many did you win?
I won every one of them except for one.
What were the euphoric feelings that you got running in prison?
I got an emotional high.
An emotional high?
An emotional high.
Uh-huh.
It was also because when I ran to honor my son. It was like that, you know what? You made a mistake, but keep running. We have faith in you to be a better person.
Nice, Markel.
That faith stemmed from the kindness of his coaches,
Finish strong, head up, nice.
like Diana Fitzpatrick.
Great workout. You have a choice when you end up at a place like San Quentin, and you can just lay around and let the time go by and wait for something to happen, or you can take control of your life and try to do something with it. And Markel's someone who really chose to do something with his life.
Did it ever occur to you that you showing him that he mattered
Yeah.
is maybe why you got the best out of him?
I guess I always believed in Markel. Okay, stride. And trusted him. It makes me feel happy. So, yeah.
With that support, Markel Taylor did something that has never been done in San Quentin before. He ran a marathon that was so fast, he qualified for the 2019 Boston Marathon. And get this, a month before the marathon, he was released on parole after serving nearly 18 years, and they gave him special permission to race.
I couldn't really enjoy Boston because I was still being happy and appreciative of just being free.
Well, this spring he went back and ran Boston again, off parole, and truly a free man.
What was the time then?
2:52 flat.
And that is a time so speedy, he placed in the top 5% of all the runners.
It's now your drug.
Exactly. It's now my drug. But it's a positive, good drug that don't hurt people.
That's right.
It helps people.
He's been given a new starting line at Life. He's now got his own one-bedroom apartment where he's starting to cook again. He got promoted at the grocery store where they took a chance on him. His boss told us he is a humble warrior.
Have a good day. Thank you, man.
New opportunities for a new man who's moving in the right direction.
What do I see in your eyes?
Someone that stopped running, that don't need to run no more, that can stand up to all my fears and anxieties. I feel like I signed a pledge of being nonviolent. And I know that not only do I owe it to myself and the people who are victimized in my lifetime, I owe it to all those who are counting on me and people who are looking for me to be a positive influence in their life. All right. What do I look like? What is my tombstone gonna say later when I pass?
What would you like for it to say?
That he fell, but he got up, and he changed the life of a lot of human beings for the better. That's why I keep doing it. And sometimes I have to do stuff like this to continue to validate myself.
This type of stuff helps keep you accountable, doesn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. That's what it is, the accountability.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Oh, David, you did it again.
Proud of that dude.
Fell, but he got up.
Proud of that.
My big takeaway too were, not just Diana Fitzpatrick, the coach, who is a volunteer, but also his teachers. We don't talk enough about that, how a teacher or a coach or somebody in your life, not your parents, can set you on a track.
Talked to his boss last night. She said he came into the grocery store and applied to work in the deli, and he didn't seem like a right fit, so we didn't hire him. And she said, then I got a call from my family doctor, and he said, I want you to do me a favor and take a chance on this guy because I believe in him. And it reminds me, as human beings, I feel like we have an obligation to give people a second chance. He did the time. He did the time. And he's going to make the rest of his life not only better for himself, but for other people.
I'm sure he's haunted by the death of his son by his own hand, but I do think it's important that we are products of our environment, not to excuse at all what he's done, but we are products of our environment. It's good to see that he wants to do something good with that.
And he's looking for somebody to give him his next chance.
And we have to remember to give ourselves a second chance.
Amen.
Well done, David. We'll be right back.
This morning.
That was a good one.
Give yourselves a second chance. Give others a second chance. A lot of people are a product of their environment. We're seeing so many of these stories now that are extremely sad, with individuals coming together to beat down another individual. I could not do this story because watching the video, it just crushes me. But there's a story out there where the girl is fighting another girl, and she's literally banging and banging and banging the girl's head on the cement. This girl is suffering now. They got to go fund me for her. And the other girl, now you in jail, risking facing life. And they said if this one doesn't make it, she's going to be facing murder charges. Felicia said it. We got to love and protect the kids. No one in his household, and I'm not excusing anything he did, no one in his household ever said, I love you, I'm proud of you, you're doing well, you're worth it. You waking your kids up out of their sleep to beat the piss out of them because you don't like the way they clean the kitchen? Listen, guys, if you didn't hit the like button coming in, hit the like button going out. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for being here. See you on the next video. Good night and goodbye, everybody.
Do not cheat the diva or strike down. Choo choo. Thank you.